Joe Budden confronts ICE for accepting money for sleepers. That's right, y'all. On the Patreon that just dropped today, Joe Budden pointed out how ICE has been making a pretty penny off of sleepers. That's right, he's selling part of the show, but not kicking anything back to the host, Joe Budden. Well, this is something that, while it is jokes, it is very serious, as there is evidence of ICE trying to leverage his position on the Joe Budden podcast for money that he doesn't kick back to anybody. Well, I think a lot of you might know that being on the Joe Budden podcast allows for a bigger profile. You can leverage some of the fame that you get to get certain, numbers, to get some money. Well, it turns out that ICE has been a shill for the music industry, as it looks like many people can pay to be on the Joe Budden podcast as a sleeper. Now, I know a lot of you might be like, Danny, why are you focusing on this? Well, because it's something I've largely suspected ever since ICE tried to charge me $1,000 for an interview. That's right, folks. The way someone does anything is the way they do everything. And there's even evidence of this because a lady on Twitter Spaces said that she paid some money to have her artist played on the podcast.
I literally, that's why I'm so mad I don't listen to the Joe Budden podcast no more, because I literally paid for a sleeper for him to get on the pod, and it still didn't work. Like, it's crazy.
Like, when you paid, did they
Yeah.
say, like, this will be how much, or did you just send some cash in with this?
No, I have a relationship with ICE, so.
Can you
And
tell
so
us?
you paid ICE to get the sleeper on, and he still didn't pay it.
Pay him
Charge
for
you
a
$1,000?
sleeper.
So you paid ICE for a sleeper and he didn't play it?
No. ICE played the sleeper.
Oh, okay, cool.
But just didn't catch any buzz.
Who did you play? Who did you pay to
No,
play?
the nigga a little
She
buzz,
just
but no,
said
the
ice.
nigga just.
Guess how much? Can we guess how much ICE is charging for sleepers?
You like have
Oh,
they don't
see,
put
I
a
wasn't
target
even
on your
supposed to
back.
say
Like
none of
you
that.
have
Not
to.
in front of my connect.
Let's guess. It was in
Nah.
1,000? 1,000?
ICE gonna kill me.
Just tell us, man.
No, he ain't.
ICE don't give a f about none of us, man. 1,000, right? You know what it is? I figured he tried to charge me 1,000 for an interview, like about two to 3 years ago, which I think is probably around the time he was charging for sleepers. And I think the way the mind works.
Well, no, so I don't know. So like I just say, yo, I'm gonna throw you this to do this. He didn't even give me a number. I just told him like, yo,
Oh, she
like,
gave him
this is cool.
6.
And he accepted it?
So, let me know what you think. This was an interesting conversation, as it also represents one of the few times in a while where members dogpiled on ICE. Flip was like, you said you used to take money from, from artists and stuff and try to get played. And then ICE said, oh, but you accepted money. And Flip was like, nah, don't ever play yourself. That's what you did. And even Joe was like, how much do you think ICE has made from sleepers? And people were throwing out numbers. I instantly thought 15 to 25,000. I believe ICE, since the day he's been on the podcast, has made around $15,000 to $25,000 from the sleeper segment alone. Ish, Imani, Joe, Flip, you guys are slacking. Why haven't you started to sell this payolas? Hey, you might as well do it, right? This isn't regulated like the radio industry, where if you do that, the feds will come knocking at your door. There's gonna be a day when the industry of podcasting is not. It's gonna be regulated, y'all. Some of you people are making money. You're not kicking back. And speaking of who's not kicking back, ICE isn't kicking back. I wonder if I had paid ICE $1,000 for that interview, if he would have given some of that to Joe. You should have done that. When I saw that email, I was like, what? Tell that to another sucker. But we will see how ICE responds to this. I wonder if you can still pay to get on the Joe Budden podcast as a sleeper. Because if you remember, ICE was playing some straight garbage. I'm talking about some super trash. And for a while, I was thinking like, man, the only way you would allow something like this on air is if somebody's paying you. And that is exactly what was happening. So, only time will tell. And I think Joe probably isn't feeling like this is a sign of how the co-hosts on the show aren't taking the property serious. You know, Howard Stern, if somebody came to Howard Stern and said, yo, I want to play my artist, or somebody who wants to get paid, they paying me, they would be fired. They would be fired. What? You trying to play me? Get the F off the show. Ice does this and it becomes a funny segment. This is nasty behavior. People aren't taking the podcast seriously. And I think there's only a matter of time before some serious repercussions occur. But that remains to be seen. All right, everybody, follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. I'm still on my Twitter space hiatus, and I must say that I'm so happy I'm not hosting spaces. Everybody, I never knew how toxic social audio was. But the thing is, it's addictive. It creates the illusion of camaraderie, the illusion of community, the illusion of, talking to people. Because you are talking to people. You are developing a certain sense of rapport. But over time, you find that it's a hollow feeling. Now, with me, it was different because I was engaging with people in the podcast industry, as well as some of the people who rock with my channel, and most importantly, WeWorks, right? Shout out to Furious, shout out to Talk FNF, shout out to a whole bunch of people, because without y'all, those spaces would not be as special. But now I'm looking at all the spaces people are throwing. Nasty work. Joe Budden spaces are trash. They're essentially a dating game. Women vying for Joe Budden's attention. Imani's hosting freaky spaces, asking ladies about their, what they doing with they, what they doing with what they doings. And Flip out there talking about, yo, I think all y'all got some fat asses. It's crazy out here. And one thing I observed is that there's a little bit groupie behavior, because if, regular guys act like that, it's a whole, they get put on trial. It's the people's court. Dun 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 dun. And it's a little wild, y'all. It's a little wild. But those spaces, I take my spaces over Joe's any day. I'm winning the space off. And be quiet as it kept, I've went head to head with Imani. I've went head to head with Flip, and I've done better space numbers than them. Now, Joe's a different beast. That's a different animal. But even him, the biggest space in the space was the one me, Rory, and Maul did back in last December. Maybe I'll come back to spaces, but I want to say that my first space back will not be a traditional space. It'll be happening next Monday. That's right, next Monday. And we will be doing the Stop Football Fantasy Draft. It's going to be special. It's going to be me and supporters of the channel drafting players, and I'm prepared to win it all. I'm going hard. I can't lose. I can't lose this fantasy football draft. Anyway, I think I'm talking a little bit too much. I'm starting to talk like I do on spaces. Like I said before, make sure you follow me on socials. Most importantly, subscribe to my Patreon. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.